So what does fishing, contrast, and retirement or olderhood all have in common that is not only one hell of an insight, but a bit of a warning for anybody entering that phase of life? I mean, like the kind of warning that can change your life and change your direction to something that's not only better, but ideal for you. Stay tuned.
Helping you find your new way forward to the best years of your life. This is a New Way Forward vodcast with your host, Paul Long.
So I'm up here on this beautiful trout stream visiting a friend of mine in his great log cabin. And, you know, it's a little chilly. Nothing's biting. The salmon run's going on, and there aren't any salmon right now. But I'm sitting there thinking, this is wonderful. God, I just love this. It's just a beautiful day. I'm out here in the river. I've been busting my tail. I'm getting a break. I wish I could do this more often. That sounds like retirement. But then the thought hit me about why this is so great and how that fact is actually more than a telltale. It's a great indication of what's important in life and why things work for us and why we are happy with our life and fulfilled by it and can enjoy moments like this. So, quick story. Again, this is a good friend of mine. We were colleagues. He's also a creative guy. We worked on a lot of video projects and live show projects together. And big time fly fisher, big time. I mean, he's been all over fishing around the world, you know, ties his own flies, knows every single kind of bug and when it's hatching, that kind of guy. And he's been living up here now for, I think, about 10, 15 years. And not too long ago, he said, you know what? I never go fishing anymore. Here he's got this incredible trout stream that's 50 feet out of his back door, and he never goes anymore. And he said, you know, the thing of it is that if I still lived down in the city, I would have made 4 or 5, you know, runs up to different, you know, streams. And now I never go. And you know why? Because it doesn't mean anything to him anymore. I'll back that off a little bit. He still might do it, but it just doesn't have the ring to it. And you know why that is? It's contrast. You know, when he was living down in the city and working hard just like me, having a moment like this was exceptional and it was wonderful. But when you can do it anytime you want to, all of a sudden it loses its value because everything in life is contrast. I mean, seriously, this sounds so simple, but it's so importantly true. You know, there is no light without dark. There is no love without hate. There is no pain without pleasure or pleasure without pain. On and on and on and on. That's existence. And so what does this sound like when there's something you love doing or a moment like I'm having now, and then someday it just really doesn't mean anything to you? What does that sound like? It sounds like retirement. Because the all too often scenario with so many people that's been happening over the last couple of decades is that they pursue, let's call it traditional retirement. You know, you're not working, you can pretty much do anything that you want to, and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to travel. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to play golf. I'm going to do this other stuff. And what happens, like it did for my friend, is that like the first year or so, it's great. It's wonderful. You've got that incredible contrast from, you know, if you were a professional or stay-at-home parent or whatever the case may be for you, that you've now got this opposite thing, and it's just wonderful. You can sleep in, you can do anything that you want. But after a while, what a lot of people refer to as the retirement honeymoon ends. And all of those things that for the last year or so that were bringing you so much pleasure and joy and just being, knowing that you could do it, doesn't mean anything to you anymore. And what I have learned from therapists and experts and real people, both firsthand and secondhand, is that after this retirement honeymoon ends, by the way, I've heard it lasting 3 weeks and sometimes 3 years, but that all of a sudden they're like, life is empty. It's like I'm miserable. I feel like I'm Dorian Mincer, who was one of the first people to pick this up a couple of decades ago, and she's an author, she's a coach, she's a therapist, she's a TED Talk speaker. She said, people kept coming to me saying, I'm failing at retirement. How can you fail at retirement? It's like falling off that log over there, except maybe that log is on a cliff and you fell off on the wrong side. And it's not so much that you're failing at retirement, you're failing at life, because traditional retirement, which is, by the way, a modern day thing, it really started in the 1950s when you had not only Social Security, but pension plans and such with companies. And of course, those were different generations, my grandparents. That the traditional retirement thing doesn't supply the other things, the really core things that we need in life, no matter your age or your situation. And the way we've advanced as a society and human beings, these things have become even more important. But before the 50s, people had it. And here's what they are. They're things like purpose. You know, not purpose of like, I want to raise good kids. That's my purpose. I want to keep my job. Well, that doesn't count because you're not going to want to raise bad kids, as my friend Elena Love, who came out Permission to Be You book that I have a video on. And you're not in your job to lose it. Well, I take that back. I know a few people who have like, I want to get fired, but you take my point. It's a deeper purpose. It's something that gives your life meaning. So purpose in terms of you're doing something like I'm doing with New Way Forward here, you know, where I needed something where I could express myself as a storyteller, and where I was doing something that I thought was making a difference. And if need be, earning an income too, because a lot of people can't afford not just retirement, but the potential for an extended health span, meaning you're going to live not just longer, but active and independent, and you got to pay for it. But then people like myself who said, yeah, I could use to still earn some more income, plus I need it to fund my effort here. But I'm going to find a way to earn that income that gives me purpose and meaning. And my friend here, very creative guy, used his artistic talents for years as an adult doing the kind of work I was doing with corporations, creating videos and live shows and events and things of that sort. Well, now he's doing his art. He started out doing these very high-end caricatures of rock stars and go to art shows and online and sell them. But then he's like, the true thing that I really want to do is watercolors. And now he's doing that. And he's earning a living doing it. And it's giving him the fulfillment. And for other people, it may be other things. But you see, there's the purpose. There's the relevance. That's another thing. I remember somebody telling me about running into a guy that had been retired for a year or two and said, oh, how's retirement? You must be loving it. Everything. Like, no. Never retire, because you'll never mean anything to anyone anymore. You lose that relevance that you had in your adult life or your profession or whatever. And you notice that it's missing, or at least you feel it if you can't identify it. So that's relevance. And then there's fulfillment. You know, there's certainly fulfillment in the moment of being with loved ones, or, you know, catching a fish, or shooting the best score of the year. But true fulfillment and satisfaction comes when you're taking something on that's important, that's even challenging. And when you overcome it, when you succeed at it, you get that fulfillment. This is a basic human need, because these also end up being giving your life meaning. And that's the hole. That's the dark hole that so many people who are just like, oh, hey, I can have a 30-year vacation, because that's what you're talking about. You know, if you take relatively good care of yourself and Granted, and I'm not really talking about that right now, but you got purpose and relevance and meaning, and you've got a good community of friends and others. You can live healthy and active into your 90s, but if you're lacking that, that's when decline begins. When all of a sudden you're having trouble getting out of bed in the morning or getting off of the couch, or, because people would say, well, what are you going to do in retirement? Oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to be with the grandkids. I'm going to play golf. How much can you do that? What happens when it's the 33rd Groundhog Day in a row? Meaning, for whatever reasons, you're not playing golf, you're not going on a trip, maybe you're not seeing the grandkids. And even then, is that enough? Because as fulfilling as being, let's say, a grandparent can be, and being involved in supporting your kids and getting in the lives of a grandchild, we still need our own thing. The thing that's exclusive to us, like my New Way Forward thing is exclusive to me. This is my thing, and it means something to me. And it certainly gets me out of bed in the morning because I got so much to do. And it gives me this contrast because I've been busting my butt, working a little, even over the weekends. And so just being here, and even though there are no fish at the moment, it's okay. I'm still loving it. But if I were basically, here's a great way to look at it, call it, if I was bored with life, and therefore I didn't have that contrast, it'd be, this is nice. So that's that contrast of being able to enjoy that vacation that you've got coming up, that you're getting excited about, that it's almost as much fun anticipating it as it is doing it, is wonderful. But ask yourself, do you really want to be on vacation for decades? And I know some people go, oh, hell yeah. No, seriously, think about it. We need that contrast in life, but equal, if not more importantly than that, we need that purpose. That's something that's meaningful for me. Like my life matters more than just to friends and family. And we want to feel relevant. And we want that fulfillment when we accomplish something. Yeah, if I hit a good golf shot, I get some fulfillment after it. If I land a big salmon here, I'll get some fulfillment. But I'm talking about the really deep, important stuff. I think you know what I'm talking about. Because we want our life to have meaning. And also, too, we want to, if you think about it, make these years something really special, which isn't just over characterization, but I'm going to use it sitting on the rocking chair watching life go by. It's an opportunity, because the new reality of longevity, the longevity revolution is that people, instead of just automatically assuming that retirement is the right thing for them, they reconsider, they rethink, they reimagine. And here's the big thing, is they design the life that they want. With this kind of awareness that I just gave you, take it seriously. I promise you, it'll make a difference. That even if you end up, because traditional retirement is right for some people. Great. That's the whole point here. What's right for you? But what I want to help you avoid is just going in assuming, like too many people do to their ultimate demise, that, oh, this is easy. It's going to be wonderful. And then after a year or two, they find out that it isn't. But when you're aware of this and you say, I'm going to not just go with that automatic retirement, traditional retirement playbook, I'm going to actually stop and think of all parts of my life. What do I really want and need? What do I want, desire, and what do I need to have? What do I want? I want to be able to go fishing. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. I don't want to be doing what I was doing to earn a living, whatever. And then what do I need? I need purpose. I need fulfillment. I need relevance. I need meaning. I need good health. And when you look at that blank slate, that even if what you do ends up looking a lot like traditional retirement, I can virtually guarantee you that that 10, 20, 30% difference from this awareness that you make to give you those things will make all the difference between the retirement nightmare and an olderhood that are some of the most enjoyable and fulfilling years of your life. and you do that, the odds of you succeeding and having it are probably a hell of a lot better than me getting a fish here in the next hour or so.
You've been listening to A New Way Forward vodcast with your host, Paul Long.